don't have a script. You're not ready. It makes it sound, when you're not prepared, that you're not confident. I find this really strange. That if we know this question is going to come, why are we not prepared? To be able to answer it in an unusual, creative, imaginative way. Why is this important? Because we don't know. We don't know that the next client we meet, the next prospect, the next stranger we meet, might be the owner of this convention center. We don't know. But within a moment of you talking to them, that person is going to make a decision, do I want to know more about you or not? You don't know that the next person you meet could be the biggest client of your life. You have a few moments, a few seconds to capture the imagination of that person. Sorry, can someone pass me a bottle of water, please? You only have a few moments, thank you, to capture the imagination of that person, to see if they are wanting to talk to you. We're going to explore this in just a moment, but let me give you an example of how we can change language and influence the result. Let's say we were meeting at a party somewhere, and you came up to me and you said to me, what do you do? And my job was a garbage collector. And I said to you, I'm a garbage collector. I would imagine most of you would say, oh, is that the time? I have an appointment at the washroom. It's a bit like when you say I'm a life insurance agent. Ever found that people just run away? If, however, we were at the party and you said to me, so what do you do? And I said to you, I'm a facilitating executive in the waste management profession. Same job, but changing the language. You don't need to take photos of that. Changing the language has changed the reaction I get from you to deliver a different response, to lead to a different result, because you are now more likely to say, that's interesting, tell me more. If you get a client saying, or prospect saying to you, that's interesting, tell me more, you're starting to win that conversation. What did I use? Words. Just words. We're going to explore this a little bit more. For example, what could you use tomorrow? How many people, when you're making your first appointment, say anything about the price of the appointment? How many people say that the first appointment with my prospect is free? Anybody? And a few. How many people say nothing about the cost of an appointment? The majority. Again, those that saw me in the evening conversations, what did I say? We are business people. We are entrepreneurs that just happen to be in the life insurance profession. Behave like business people. Business people want to create value. How do we create value instantly? Is by language. So here's the problem. When you say that something is free, what value do you create? None. So if you did say to your client, when they ask you, is there a cost for the first meeting? And you say it's free, you are devaluing yourself. You're basically saying, I'm not worth anything. My time is completely free. If you don't show up, it doesn't matter. That's effectively what you're saying. That's why people cancel appointments with you. Because they don't value you. To me, it's even worse when you say nothing. Because you are then missing the opportunity to create value. Never miss an opportunity to create value. So from tomorrow, I want you to have the self-belief, the self-confidence of your self-worth. And instead of saying something is free, instead of saying nothing, be proactive and say, let's get together, first meeting is at my expense. It is, isn't it? Time, travel, buying you a coffee, it's at my expense. That puts a value on you. It's still free if you want to use that word, but my expense means a lot more than free. I'm putting a value on myself by saying, I have a cost, but I'm willing to share it with you. So immediately, one word, the power of words, one word has changed your perception of me. What it's also done is changed the perception of whoever uses it with everyone else. Because nobody else is saying it. It's showing I'm confident. I have a value. The success in this business is about being confident, self-belief. I sometimes say to people, I'm a L'Oreal advisor because I'm worth it. Those of you who are old enough to know L'Oreal, cosmetics company, and their advertising is all about the model saying, I use L'Oreal because I'm worth it. I'm like that. I have belief that I'm worth it, but I'm willing to share it with you. Now, let's get this clear. This doesn't mean you charge fees. Because what it leads on to is a question which you should address. Which is, in the prospect's mind, if you say the first meeting is at my expense, they are automatically thinking, well, what happens next? What's it going to cost me? That gives you the opportunity to have a professional conversation about banking. I'm willing to give you my time at my expense because I'm going to show you such fantastic ideas that will help you achieve the next 10 years of your life as a dreamer. I will engage you in a conversation using the Decade of Dreams tool that will get you thinking about what your future looks like. If you like what I'm doing in that conversation, and there's an opportunity for me to talk to you about investments and insurance, and you decide to proceed with no obligation, I get paid for explaining what that is. It's a professional conversation to talk about what we do and how we get paid. It's not necessarily about charging fees. Try it. When I've shared this at MDRT meetings and people have done it at a previous speech and then said, who's tried it? People have got up and said, wow, it changed everything. It changed the whole perception of myself and my prospect. Because there's something else that happens as well. It takes advantage of something called the power of reciprocity. The power of reciprocity says, if I do something for you, you will feel obliged to do something in return for me. If I invite you to my house for dinner, you will feel that you should invite me. If I give you something at my expense, the power of reciprocity is that you will want to do something back for me. Simple change of language can change and influence the response and the reaction we get. Now, when we're in this sales process, this financial advisory process, this discussion about life insurance and needs, we need to understand a core fact. People buy with emotion and justify with logic. Understand that. People buy with emotion and justify with logic. Too many people are trying to sell on logic. This is a great premium. This is a great product. But if you're not engaging somebody at an emotional level, it doesn't matter how good your product is. Example. Have you ever been out shopping to a store and you want to buy a new outfit, a new suit, a new dress, whatever it might be, and you go to the store with a budget? I'm going to spend, I'm making up the number, $200 to buy this new outfit. When you go to the store, do you go to the rack of $200 suits or dresses? Or do you look around? Who looks around? And then you find a suit or an outfit that is $300, $400, maybe more. You pick it up and you look at it and you say, hey, that looks good. Let me go and try it on. You try it on, you look in the mirror and you say, hey, I look good. What happens to your budget? It disappears. Who's ever done that? I can't believe the people who have still got their hands down. You obviously don't buy me new clothes. Who has ever gone to a store and spent more than they planned to because they like something? They really, really like something. Everybody is humans. What made you do that? It was emotion, not logic. The logic was my budget. The emotion was, I really like this. It makes you do crazy things if the emotion is powerful enough. Give you an example. I went to buy a new wrong slide, we'll come back to that. I want to give you an example. If a client says to you that I cannot afford the premium, yet you know that the prospect can. Happens, doesn't it? They're just making excuses. What they're really telling you is, I don't have enough emotional attachment to what you're telling me. Because just like buying the suit beyond the budget, if the emotional attachment to the life insurance, the critical illness insurance, the income protection, the health insurance, whatever you're doing, if the emotional attachment is strong enough, they will bite your hand to take it from you. When somebody says I can't afford it and you know they can, you need to go back to basics. We need to go back to creating the emotion around the sale. That's a different subject. I might bring up some of that later on. Does this make sense? Always understand what the objection is really about. The objection here would be, I'm not emotionally engaged. I think at one point, someone from BMW attended one of my presentations. And they heard this phrase that people buy with emotion and justify with logic. Because over the last few years, BMW advertising has evolved from the usual kind of car advertising. Usually car advertising is about speed, comfort, safety, economy, performance. BMW didn't talk about those features in their advertising. Let me share one of their recent adverts and you see what they talk about was emotion.
We are a car company, but we don't just make cars. We make technology as well, build snowballs, and create works of art. We inspire friends and fan clubs. We are efficient and dynamic. We even shape the future. We realized a long time ago that what you make people feel is just as important as what you make. And at BMW, we don't just make cars, we make joy.
You don't have to afford BMW, thanks. Did you notice the last sentence? We don't just make cars, we make joy. But the last phrase from the narrator also said was that we realized a long time ago that what you make people feel is just as important as what you make. Do you think that sentence would apply to our business? It's core to our business. We need to understand that it's the relationships, it's the emotions that we create with our prospects that deliver the real product. Nobody cares about the insurance policy. They care about what the insurance policy does for them and their family. That's all we should be talking about. Never talk about features and charges and all of that. You're just going to talk about how their family will feel with or without the insurance. It's going to be a later part of my presentation. So later on there'll be lots of sales ideas, so be ready, get your pencils sharpened. We're going to have some quick fire sales ideas. Here's my previous BMW, but I want to explain what happened when I bought this car. I went to buy my BMW 7 Series. I've always got a 7 Series, I've now got an i7, so this is my older picture. But when I went to buy the car, I had a budget of what I was going to spend. But the one that I was looking at next to it was another one. But I liked it. I really liked it. It was 50% more than the budget that I had available. But because I really liked it, the emotional involvement, I bought it. I did that with a car, not a suit. We're talking tens of thousands of pounds. Now get this. Ready? The power of emotion. I don't drive. I get a train to my office every day. My car sits in my drive, and most of the time it has a flat battery because I don't drive it. How crazy is that? But it's the power of emotion makes you do crazy things. Not logical things. Logic would say, buy a smaller car, you don't even use it. So yesterday, we talked about the decade of dreams. Who's now filled in their decade of dreams? I want every hand up. I gave you a lecture yesterday about not doing it. I felt like a school teacher telling you off for not doing your homework. Right? But just like a kid who doesn't get to do their homework, they don't make progress. If you haven't done this yet, then you need to do it. If you've done it, perhaps you want to take it out now, because we're going to take a deeper dive into it. Because filling it in is actually only the first step. There's a further set of questions that we can use to get even deeper value out of it. And in understanding these couple of questions I'm going to share with you, you instantly create emotion around any subject. Instantly, within 2 questions, I can bring anybody from a material item down to an emotional value. When you bring people down to emotional value, then they're going to engage with you more so because it's part of a lifetime relationship. Language. How many people here offer their clients a long-term relationship? Hands up if you do. If you don't, there's a problem. Come on, this is interactive. Keep me awake. How many people here say to their clients, I'm going to be around with you in the long term? Yeah, virtually everyone. I say to my clients, I'm really sorry, but I don't offer long-term relationships. I offer lifetime relationships. One word got a round of applause. It's about analysing the words we use, considering the impact it makes, and does it deliver the right reaction, response, response, reaction, and result. You see, the problem with saying, I offer a long-term relationship, your definition of long-term is very different to what the prospect's definition is. Prospect's definition, based on experience of their previous advisor who said the same thing and after 2 years disappeared, is 2 to 3 years. Whereas a lifetime relationship is pretty categoric, is it not? In fact, yesterday when we shared it, someone shared a nice line with me, the relationship is until one of us die. Nice. Okay? That's quite specific. So language is important. I can't keep saying that enough. Now, if you build this in, you would have worked through your 4 different steps of what's there. I want you to have it in front of you if you've done it, because now we're going to do something extra. Down to this. How do we turn what people have told us here, which might be just material things? It might be, I want a bigger house, I want a bigger car. These are material things, they don't create emotion. 2 questions that you use. Whatever the first, you take one of those boxes, so you get a client to put it in. You take one of their boxes on the top right-hand side, one of their cells, and we're going to use that to take a deeper dive. The first question you will ask is, whatever they've written there, use their words. Why is that important to you? Take out the word that and use the words they wrote. Okay? So if they said to have a bigger car, why is having a bigger car important to you? You must listen really carefully to their answer. Because whatever their answer is, I'm going to call that X. Okay? Whatever their answer is, let's call it X. The next question is going to be, so what's important about X? So whatever the words they use, write it down. That represents X, and you repeat those words back to them. What's important about what they just said to you? Within 2 questions, you will get to a deep emotional level. We have limited time today, otherwise I'll be doing a role play with you and getting you to pair up and ask each other these questions. Do it over your next break. Do it next week when you're back in your offices. Do it on a Zoom call together. Practice, practice, practice. But you can use these 2 questions as powerful words in any situation. Try it with friends. When you're having a conversation, just say to somebody, so what's important about that to you? Because they've told you something. What's important about that to you already sets you apart as being somebody of interest. Because you're using some unusual questions and words. And when they give you the answer, so why is that important to you? They will be shocked when you ask these questions, because that second question takes longer to answer. But you will start to get responses such as, a sense of achievement, a sense of fulfillment, a sense that I've made progress in my life. That's when you get people at emotional levels. Once you've done this exercise, once you've done the 2 questions, and you've got them emotionally involved, the next thing to say is, go back to the sheet, and you say, thank you, John. Oh my class, John. Thank you, John, for sharing this. If I can help you to achieve, and then use the words they wrote, if I can help you to achieve these things in your personal life, and these things in your professional life, do you think we would have the basis of a lifetime relationship together? If they say no, pick them up. Everybody says yes. Because you're now taking them to an emotional level, you've got them talking about things they've never told anybody else, and now you're offering to help them to achieve those things. They will want to work with you every single time. Next question you may ask is, I think I did this yesterday, is, so what might stop you getting to your 10-year goals? What might prevent you from achieving these things? And invariably it will be something around money. I could lose my job. I could fall ill. I could die. We can help on those things. We can help. If they lose a job, we're going to help them create some savings as a foundation. If they fall ill, we have insurance to help with that. And if they die, we have insurance for their family because their family's dream should continue. Is this making some sense? You've got a tool that's very practical. You've got a couple of questions, you take it further, you then engage them by saying, if I can achieve these, help you achieve these things, do we have the basis of a lifetime relationship together? And then you say, what are the barriers, what are the issues, what are the concerns that might prevent you achieving these things? Opens the door to our conversation around solutions. This may seem long-winded, but in the scheme of a lifetime relationship, it's nothing. And if you can develop deep relationships, these people will not only buy from you, they will keep buying from you, and they will tell other people about you. Because none of their friends are experiencing this either. That's coming from, again, I keep saying it, a 30-year MDRT member, 25 years TOT, doing this. I only share with you things that I use. I only share with you the things that I use because they work. Because I've tested loads of things. And if they don't work, I won't share them with you. But you have to have the courage to try. So let's now explore your use of creative language. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a partner, the person sitting next to you. If you're an odd number, turn your chair around and talk to somebody on another table. We're going to do an exercise where you need to answer the dreaded question of words. It means that by using unusual language, creative words, and imaginative ways, we have the ability to influence the reaction we get from clients, to lead to the response that we want from them, to deliver the result that we need, just through words. The message I gave you yesterday still applies. That amazing things can only happen if you have the courage to step outside or expand your comfort zone. Learning new ideas that you don't use, they won't work. Guarantees apply. Use them and your life could be immensely different. So my friends, I asked you for this yesterday, I'm going to ask you now again. I want to hear you as loud as possible. What is your level of commitment? Are you committed to your own success? Yes. Are you committed to the change that it's going to need? Yes. And are you committed to fly to your financial and advisory future? Yes. Okay, good. Then come and join me. I want you to